What's up? Hello. We are live early. Sorry about the weird timing. Also, chat just appears to be a black box. Now that's interesting. Oh, apparently I have not signed in chat. It's probably just because there's no chats there. Here, I can even test it. Let's see. There we go. It shows up. Hello. Sorry, I'm live like an hour and a half early. I was originally trying to ride out the storm, and then the storm got extended, at least in my area. Early video, what's up? I know. Well, yeah, and because I was like, here, I'm also going to try turning off this light. Is that better lighting? Whoa, significantly worse. Okay. It's going back on. What up? Hello. Yeah, no. Storm got extended, and I wanted to go live earlier rather than later to see if the internet holds up. It should. It should. Like, based on everything that me and the ISP and the internet techs that installed it talked about, like, should be better than the last one. Shouldn't even really be affected by the storm. I've been told things before, so I'm not the most confident when an internet technician tells me that. But we're gonna see. What's up? Hello. I'm here for now. What's up? Hello. Chat Noir, Mike 30, Negative View. Hello. Turd yeah. And I think we're gonna potentially try to get like straight into it because haven't been able to stream very much lately. There's a chance. I don't want to get anyone too excited. There's a chance my schedules could solidify soon. I'm trying not to put too many eggs in that basket in case it does not work out, but you know, it's possible. And that'd be really cool for everyone, me especially. So with that, good vibes from an interview. The furthest I've gotten down an interview pipeline by a long margin. We are potentially going into the final one tomorrow. Part of the thing I had to do today. So everyone keep your fingers crossed. It's yeah. I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I think I'm qualified. I think I could do good, but we'll see. With that, I hope they bring me on too. I'm talking about my channel during the interview, almost certainly. So that'll be fun. But let's see here. Also, my mic is peaking. Let me address that. Let me just turn down that gain a little bit. Let me know if the mic is buzzy again. I had to mess around with the amp, and so it kind of reset everything we did last stream. So let me know if there are any audio issues anywhere. I've also had to just kind of totally reconfigure the audio interface at large. So hoping it all works. But we'll see. It did sound different from past audio, but not bad necessarily. Okay. I'll take not bad necessarily. That's good. We'll see. I also made some positive changes since last stream with the audio. I added in some like post-processing that I didn't have last time, so should sound even better. But like I said, I'm not gonna spend, I think, too long. I think we should just jump into it, given how long it's been. My goal is to get to the break at least, because I think that it's a much longer first half than second. Oh no, it's about the same length of second. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we do. Last time we were in. It was mostly some exploration stuff. They had to get past a big-ass rock in a very narrow tunnel. I thought there was some good exploration challenges there. I'm not going to talk too much about the broad dungeon, partially because it's we've been here for a while, for at least the number of streams that we've had, and it's a little stale at this point. Me talking about the dungeon. I want them to get out. I want to see Thar and Fala. I want to see what Matt has planned for the final confrontation. And I'm especially excited because I'm kind of wrapping up my own D&D campaign right now. And we had some good recent sessions, and so I want to see how Matt kind of funnels into that final boss confrontation, right? So far, it has been Vecna's escalating power. He is starting to threaten Vasselheim, which outside of Iman is probably the city they care the most about, so decent target. Also, in theory, the one that could hold out the longest. And so, the fact that there's an actual threat there kind of magnifies the perceived power of Vecna even more. The fact that Vasselheim didn't care about the Chroma Conclave, but they do care about Vecna, that comparison is nice. So let's see. I think Matt has done plenty to foreshadow Vecna's power. It is mostly how does he sort of funnel it in a way that they are not fighting Vecna's entire army. They are not fighting all of Vecna's lieutenants, right? When you have a big leader of a faction, how you manage to isolate them so that it is a feasible fight for the heroes is always interesting, right? Are they in a command center that the players manage to isolate so that help can't arrive? Do they delay help somehow? Is there some misdirection? Do they change orders to get lieutenants to go somewhere else and then they can't arrive at the fight in time? Fights in D&D do not take that long, right? They're pretty damn quick. All things considered, most combats are going to be under 10 turns. That is less than a minute of real time in the fiction. So when you can wrap up a fight in less than a minute, it actually doesn't take that much of a delay to completely prevent someone from participating in the combat. In fact, I just ran into that in my last session. I had narrated how split the party was. Some of my players were over here, some of my players were over here, and one of them heard a combat start with the other party, with the other players in the party, and said, "Oh, I want to run towards that. How long will it take me to get there?" And with the distances I had narrated, I was like, "Oh shit, it's gonna take him a minute at least," which basically prevents him from participating in the combat if it takes a reasonable amount of time. So it's something to consider. It's a kind of a boon and bane in your back pocket as a DM, where it's actually relatively easy to isolate a combat through delays, but that sword cuts both ways. So let's see how Matt handles it.
With us. Okay.
Oh my god.
You hear the faint footfalls of sound behind, and Trinket takes a moment to try and squeeze through this small Trinket had a hard enough time getting through the incline.
Oh yes, captions for CR. Absolutely. Good reminder.
Into the necklace. You make your way through the opposite side, and as you all step through, the portal remains open, it seems, for at least...
Why can you guys... Oh, because they're down there. I was like, why can't you guys see the captions? I might have to resize the screen. Okay, one moment. I also had to completely recreate the screen layouts. Let me just boop 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 boop. Let's just... I'm gonna be a little bit smaller, but that's okay. I'll just move that up a skosh. Then what happens if I drag it all the way down? Too low. Okay, what about right there? That's pretty good. Let's try it.
Just a moment. Alrighty.
Hey, we did it, guys.
We beat a door.
We did it.
We beat a door.
I beat a door.
Guys, it took
Doors.
111 episodes.
38.
But we bested a door.
Come on.
Yeah.
Last episode of the third campaign will be a door that we do not open.
That just means door.
So the darkness you step through leads into a 10-foot wide hallway of similar dwarven stone, the same slightly angled hallways, about 10 feet tall or so, about 5 or 6 foot wide. And you get a few steps in, and about 20 or 30 seconds after you guys make your way into the tunnel, the mirror portal behind closes up.
Can we see?
Can you see through it?
Through the mirror?
Well, I meant just where
No.
we are.
You cannot see through the mirror.
Are we in pitch black or are we in?
You're in pitch black.
I think one-way portals are fine. I go back and forth on them because in some ways they feel slightly contrived of like, oh, you want them to progress without being able to turn around and retreat. You're essentially forcing them forward. But in a lot of ways, like the idea that a portal, like a teleportation portal, would be a one-way trip that either, just gets totally consumed after its use, or only stays open for a certain amount of time each day and then has to recharge. Like, there's plenty of ways that you can contrive a one-way portal that I honestly don't even think it needs that much explanation. Like, because there are so many theoretical explanations for how a one-way portal could manifest, I don't think it needs a ton of explanation. It may be worth considering if you have players that are very that are very like aware of these sorts of things. Oh, it's saying that. Can you guys still see me? It was saying that OBS wasn't responding, but it seemed to be responding to me. So I did not end it. I think everything's good. Crossing my fingers. We can see you. Okay, cool. I'm just going to ignore that. But I think if you have players that are maybe very skeptical of plot contrivances, like if they're really looking out for that sort of shit and they're very concerned with that sort of thing, maybe include some sort of explanatory mechanism. Like I said, there's plenty to pick from. But I think for most players, that's not going to be too big of a concern.
But you guys with dark vision can see there is a staircase not too far, maybe 10 feet from where you stand, into this next hallway.
Iron stairs? Stone stairs?
Stone stairs.
Yeah, I got a dagger out.
All right. It lights up briefly, and you get a little bit of a vision beyond that, and it's just gradual stone steps. They're not too wide. They're made for dwarven gate, so there are many steps that are relatively shallow.
These are dwarven steps that are relatively shallow.
You
can see it, Krog.
Oh, I should have some
That's very impressive.
That's actually right.
Is there any traps?
You're welcome to search for traps.
Yeah, I'm going to scoot like 40 feet up the stairs and look as I go for traps. One. And I'm taking
one of the two.
I'm taking it, but I'm still going.
I
looking
didn't
for
ultimately
traps.
fail.
You do have reliable talent, don't you?
Does that oversee ones? Because I've been counting ones as ones for a long time.
The reliable talent as a rogue specifically says any roll lower than a 10, you take as a 10.
Good
It's your
to know.
responsibility.
Oh,
Well,
any roll?
I just assumed
I
we.
just thought one's
Well, not any roll, any ability check.
Okay, well, we wrongly assumed that one's.
Also, only ability checks for things he is proficient in, correct? Oh, the new tab is still interesting. I mostly managed to isolate this screen from like the rest of the cookies. So if I were to, I don't need to open up an incognito browser to show you guys stuff. But it seems like the new tab, like autofill, is still carrying over some cookies, which is interesting. I'll have to check into that. I was just going to pull up 5e tools. Let's see. Let's search reliable talent. Oh, I guess this is 2024. Did they change it in 2024? I don't think they did. Ability check that uses one of your skill proficiencies. Yeah, okay. It's not any ability check. That'd be insane. I mean, frankly, it's kind of already insane. But let's see. Class feature Rogue 11. We'll just make sure that at this time Whenever you make an ability check that lets you add your proficiency bonus, you can treat a d20 or 9. D20 roll of 9 or lower as 10. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I think he is proficient in the skill that he is using in this case, so it's not that big a deal, but to be fair. Autofill is orthogonal to cookies as far as I know. I thought. That's why I wasn't worried about it, but I don't know. I'll have to check. I'll check separately. I wonder actually. Here, I have one of these. I'll do it off stream. That's fine.
20s were king, but no, I have
I thought I figured something cool out, and it just turns out I didn't.
reliable talent. So
wait,
actually,
he rolled way better than me because I rolled a 10.
that's an 18.
Okay.
My one is an 18 now.
Yeah, because that's one of the cool things about
Stop it.
rogues.
That's nuts.
So, you guys make your way up about 45, 50 or so feet of the stairway. You keeping an eye out, no traps, nothing catches your eye as iffy or strange, and the stairs now switch back into another set.
Okay, and there, I don't want to
It's
go.
a small landing, and then it continues upward.
Okay, but I'm never going to go 40 feet in advance. That's like 10 fucked rolls of mine from the past 30 games.
That's okay.
Anyway,
So it's
I
like
love
a big 180, just going right up. Kind of. I'm just trying to get it right in my head.
Yeah,
That's
just
all.
the staircase
Okay,
ascends,
cool.
and then a lane, and then it continues upward around.
Do we hear anything?
Okay.
Make a perception check.
I'll join in that perception.
All right. So you're joining them up the staircase?
I'm behind where that's
Yeah,
standard.
nice. So you guys are keeping
Do you
up.
fuck the roll too? Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck?
I got 25.
This is the ultimate game. of-
Seriously, welcome back in 2
Wow.
weeks, and people just cannot. Wow.
Is it like a full moon or
Yeah, but
something?
you
I
remember
asked
when
this
we were
earlier.
at home and we'd go 6 weeks without playing, and we'd spend 45 minutes trying to remember what we did,
What our
how the
names
rules
were.
were,
Oh, yeah.
what our names were, who you were.
That's true.
Vex is right. That's a
25, you said?
25.
25. Okay.
Feels good.
It's hard to discern what shifting in the distance is not the rumbling from the ever occasional Titan footfalls, but nothing seems to catch your attention. Occasionally, you hear dislodged rocks and stones clacking across the stone floor and the steps, and every now and then you catch a stone or two, kind of fall past and eventually come to rest either near or below you. You continue up the switchback stairs and lead into a third switchback that continues upward.
40 feet in advance. Another. It's
We are following
at least an
behind.
18.
We're following behind.
Okay.
Are you
Okay.
looking for traps as you go, brother?
That is an 18 anyway.
I
Yeah.
still have my hands
So 11
guiding
and 1 is the
Percy.
same.
Our blind human. Follow me. Yep, this is
Leading the old man
yep.
forward. All right.
You're welcome.
You do not find any other traps. There's no other issues that worry you upon this climb. You do eventually come to the top of the third switchback stairway, and it leads you into a slight curved cavern. And you, the stairs stop, and it leads into a let's say cavern. It's a continuation of the dwarf-like hallway structure that you had below, but it is curving around now,
Yeah.
or like in sections, almost like it's more. I would say it's opposed to a gradual curve. The design and the structure here has a very kind of rigid geometric shape, so the curvature is in sections.
Yeah, I appreciate it as I go and I look for traps.
All right, go for it.
Love it. That's an 18.
Okay.
I'm going to try to keep this concise because it is at least adjacent to things I have talked about many, many times. So forgive me for that. But I just want to hit home one of the reasons that I am not a fan of straight line dungeons and just straight line maps in general. They can have their time and place, but they have many, many downsides. And one that I want to focus in on right now is the pacing detriments that they present and the way in which they can affect the pace of so many other things. Like this right now, this just set of switchback stairs, it's a nice environmental detail. Like it's the sort of detail in the environment of just these like shallow switchback dwarven made stairs that I would have really liked to see earlier in the dungeon, closer to like the tomb of the king in the city, right? Like these are the sorts of environmental details that make it feel like an actual lived-in place and not just a series of encounters, right? And that's like one of my big issues, especially with the beginning of the dungeon, is that it feels like a series of encounters that do not mesh together, right? That are not related to each other in any way. They just happen to be connected by stone hallways. So this is nice, but one of the issues with making your dungeon a straight line with just various points of interest along the way is that you cannot reuse any description. And what I mean by that is, as you progress along this, You just need to generate new environmental details, environmental descriptions for every new interaction, right? Let's say that only, let's say this is 1, let's say this is 2, and let's say that this is A. This is just an environmental detail, right? And then we'll call something up here 3. You can reuse this A as something that maybe they see in the distance during 2, and you can reuse it as the beginning of what they're experiencing when they go into 1, right? So you get, I would say, at maximum 2 places that you can use that environmental detail, but you can't reuse it by the time you get to 3, when they are arranged in this straight line. The opposite of this, which I think has its own problems, I want to call that out immediately, but the opposite of this I would call something like a fan structure. This is what I refer to it as when I'm building my own dungeons. I refer to it as a fan. Oh my god. I refer to it as a fan structure. So it is one central area that then has many different areas branching off of it. In a video that I made about my dungeon notation, I used the example, or one of the examples I used in that had one of these, and I critiqued it pretty heavily. It was in the death house. In the bottom of the death house, there's a central common room where a bunch of the cultists meet, and then there are bedrooms that fan off of that sort of central common area. It's a reasonable way to design a place if you're only thinking about like what kind of makes sense rather than what is fun. But on the benefit side, you now get to use, or at least benefit, from the description that you laid out in A in all 5 of these encounters. Let's say that each of these rooms is its own separate encounter. That would be a ridiculous way to build it, but let's say that it is. You get to reuse that A 5 times. In this structure, the straight line, you can only reuse it twice. So there's a lot less, you're getting a lot less benefit per word that you speak, right? It's not necessarily that we want to be reusing environmental details all the time. It's more that in a straight line structure, you can only get, you have a capped ceiling on how much benefit you can get off of the descriptions that you're giving, and descriptions take time. They take literal time at the table, and they take even more time if there's any amount of clarification that has to happen. That's what made me think of this, is Marisha clarifying the way that these stairs are approaching, trying to get it set in her mind. That is just the narrative description taking extra time to communicate to your players. And let's say you have to do that for every single one. In a straight line structure, you are going to be spending far more time clarifying and far more time on things that ultimately don't matter that much, right? Ultimately, things that they're not interacting with. You're going to be spending a larger proportion of your time on those sorts of things in a straight line structure, as opposed to something like a fan structure. Now, again, the fan has its own problems, which I discussed a little bit in that map exploration video. But I think that the better answer is a sort of happy medium. You have some points connected by straight lines. You have some branching structures that allow you to reuse some environmental descriptions here and there. I would put more detailed descriptions. So like if I were making this, and let's say that these are both environmental descriptions and these are encounters. The letters are environmentals. The numbers are encounters. The interactables, maybe we'll call them. In this case, right, there's a little bit of a mix of straight line going on. You can think of this as kind of a straight line, but then it has, 3 to B is a straight line, but then you have 4 and 5 branching off at A. And in this sort of setup, you are going to be getting a lot more value out of these environmental descriptions than you would in the straight line, but you're also getting a little bit more variety than you would in something like the fan. It's a nice, happy medium. And in this sort of scenario, I would put a lot more effort into the description around A than I might around the description of B, right? The more times that they are going to re-encounter that area or that detail within the map, the more effort I would put into it, the more unique I might make it, maybe give it a little bit more depth or detail, right? You're going to be getting a lot more value out of it, so you want to make it even more interesting. And with a straight line, you're somewhat incentivized to not put a lot of effort into any of your environmental descriptions. You don't want to make them that interesting. That takes time during prep, right? That doesn't just happen. You don't just think of a creative environmental detail, right? You have to put in time and effort during the prep. And if they're only going to encounter it in passing, right? They're only going to encounter it adjacent to maybe 2 interactables. You're not going to put, it doesn't make sense to put a lot of time and effort and love and care into it in the prep, right? The math just doesn't work out there. Whereas in something like a fan structure, you should be putting a ton of time into this and you'd get a lot of value out of it because as they go between all of these rooms and keep coming back to the center, you're getting value out of that effort that you put in during the prep. So, like I said, a combination of these two, I think, is going to yield the best results. You're going to get some value from your prep, but you are also not avoiding the detriments of the fan structure, which is repetition. It can get very repetitive, and it can actually end up speeding up the pace so much that the players spend too long in their sheets, right? We want these moments of environmental description, of environmental interaction and detail to let us sink into the scene, to let us role play a little bit more. Now, some of these could be social encounters where you're role playing, but you're still often in your sheet during social encounters. You're looking at spells. You're thinking about, should I charm person right now? You're thinking about your saving throws potentially, right? Your skill checks. And during these environmental segments, you're not thinking about those things as much. That's why the fan structure can be really detrimental. It can often go too fast and put our players more in their sheets than in the story. So again, a nice, healthy balance. Let's move on.
Coming around the edge, no traps, no plates, nothing catches your attention. However, this tunnel comes to an end, and it opens up into a larger crevasse than the one that you previously saw that held a number of city...
And just to really hone in on the detail, you see there, we just walked up the stairs, and now the crevasse opens up, and we're in an entirely new location. All the players are silent. Matt has to re-describe the location because there's nothing connected to that previous portion, right? So just wanted to really hit it home about how the value that we're getting out of those descriptions is much lower in a straight line design.
Buildings of the remains of Filmora. It looks to be about 100 to 120 feet tall. You assume from the bits of the stalactites that you can see barely reaching the edge of your visual range. Very, very faint bit of light here, what looks to be some sort of bioluminescent fungus in a dull orangish color that dots the edges of this interior chamber.
And is it like where I killed that motherfucker? They were built into the cliff face, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This one is larger than the one you were before.
Yeah.
And you can see just beyond your visual range a number of these buildings, partially crumbled in some places, some still standing obstinate against the ever-shifting interior of the Titan's form. The chamber kind of curling upward as the ceiling crawls higher and higher just beyond your visual range, and you can just faintly see the images of what look to be dozens of thin bridges that kind of weave over themselves across different levels up into the higher portion of
I
the
just want to
chamber.
confirm an intuition and use my last divine sense and feel undead. Yeah.
Okay, what's the range on that one?
60 feet.
60 feet? You do not sense any undead within the 60-foot range.
I think we're in the lungs.
Yeah. Right,
Yeah.
I think
This,
we're in its chest cavity.
yeah.
I think we're going to see, speaking to the earrings, they're all behind me, I think we're in a more populous place with the undead cannibals, you know what I mean? There's a very large cavern in here and a lot of room.
I'd be grateful if anyone got a sample of that bioluminescent fungus.
I can get that.
Wait, I want to see how it's spelled. How close did I
Yeah,
get?
and a lot of room.
I'd be grateful.
Oh, there was has the C in it. Dang it.
If anyone got a sample of that bioluminescent fungus.
I can get that. I'm interested. Do you want me to fly up and get some?
Yeah, we're on a schedule here.
Well, if it's on the way. We have to go that way. We have to go up, right? Yeah. Does it look like there's openings in the ceiling?
Well, currently you're the only one who's just stepped into this entrance to look up. The rest of you
And
are now
I'll
exit into the
I'll
chamber.
wait. I'll wait. Obviously, there's nothing's going to explode on my friends, so they catch up with me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they're all behind you now. This is where this entrance is, and as you kind of look past it, you can see this hallway that you're entering. It looks like there was a doorway here. There was some sort of a hinge on the edge that held a.
Actually, I just thought of something extra to add to the previous conversation that is relevant right now. Also, if you are into trapping areas or checking, making your players check for traps, the straight line dungeon is the design that will maximize the amount of time that your players have to check for traps, right? Since you're not essentially reusing any areas, they are constantly having to check for traps. Again, talking about slowing down the pace, and checking for traps is even worse because it is also putting them in their sheets. It is slowing down the pace and putting them in their sheets. And depending on how paranoid they are about it, they're going to have to be doing that every single new room you enter, regardless of if it's an encounter or just a little bit of environmental flavor. They're always checking for those things. So, worth considering. Again, it's just the lack of reuse means that anything your players want to do anytime they enter somewhere new, they're going to now have to do the maximum amount of times.
Door that had since been broken or toppled for. You can see pieces of what looked to be the door that once held this entranceway, and a number of the buildings immediately to the right and left. And that's where you stand. What do you want to do?
Does it look like there's any footprints coming in and out of the doorway that we came from? Does it look
Make
like
an investigation check.
I mean, Scanman.
Can I look for like a doorknob or a keyhole?
Everything we were told is that this place is full of undead cannibals. By the way,
23?
I killed one on the way here. There's probably a lot here.
Okay.
Like is there shattered remnants of the door?
Just a couple shards here and there.
Any
But
doorknob or a keyhole that's like on the ground or anything?
make an investigation check. Investigation check. Okay. 2. You scramble about and find a couple pieces that might be, but no, it's just more stone.
Does it look? Can I see like any stairs carved in the side, like in the walls? Trying to head up to this. Is that what you just checked?
No, but that's what I was about to look for too.
Okay.
And is there
Like-
any movement? Because there's bioluminescent shit on the walls in here, so there's a little bit of light, right? Yeah, 26.
26.
anything
As you
moving?
glance about, once again, your vision, because there was very little light in here and just a very, very faint bits of fungus in the distance that give you a sense of the shape of this entire chamber, there isn't enough light for you to make out any shape beyond the exterior of your visual range, so you can't really tell.
A second thing I want to look for is what other exits from this gigantic cavern. Ways through, up. Yeah, but you look, but I don't look.
Let me finish what I was saying first.
All right.
Roll again.
But based on the size of this chamber
Yeah.
and the bits of what small elements of structures that you can see of the architecture within, this definitely appears to be more of the heart of the city of Tamara. When it was once at its ancient height. You can see at the very edge of your visual range what looks to be a cracked central fountain that is empty and dry. And you see what looks to be just beyond your range the exterior of a large temple-like building that rises just out of the ability to see any more of its heightened structure.
Temple.
But like I said, you guys are still standing at the entrance to this cavern.
What about the temple? Why?
Want to fly through here? Can we fly?
I don't think we want to stay here.
I know, let's finally just fly through.
Find another exit, yeah. But where?
Well,
Where?
Potentially
I'd like to see the temple if I could.
Why
What
not?
are you talking about?
Well, look, all right, my gloves
Keep
come.
your voice.
My gloves come from the heart of a ruined primordial titan. So, like, if maybe they harvested like pieces of my gloves and it's in a temple, like, I don't know. You smart people could like do something with that.
Right, what's your plan? You expect us to come up with a plan to
Dude, oh man. I mean, I don't want to do too much redesign talk, right? I don't want to do too much of that. Also, don't know what the fuck's going on with that. That's weird. I'll have to look into that later. But dream with me for a moment, right? We're in the lungs right now, right? These will be the lungs. I'm also gonna draw them not in red. Okay, so we are currently in the lungs, big old chamber, and it has a fountain. It has a temple, right? There are 2 other locations that we've already been to that are similar, right? If maybe the temple just housed the tomb of the king, or maybe the temple doesn't house the tomb of the king, but the temple has like a catacombs area where they have to like descend down and the tomb is down there. So we'll say that's temple. We'll say over here is tomb, right? And the tomb is isolated. Maybe it has, again, like a catacombs area that they need to go down into to get to the tomb. But that would give it some connection to the rest of the city. We might even say, maybe this is the heart, but there is like that narrow kind of cavern that they went down. Maybe that is the connection between the lungs, right? So these are both the lungs. And then I don't know what the fuck the little thing that connects your lungs is called, or where exactly the lungs connect, but I can easily see the sort of chasm, we might call it, that they walked through connecting both of these lungs, right? That gives it a pretty direct reason to be shaped in the way that it was. It's this narrow passageway between the two more bulbous areas. One of the lungs could have the temple, one of the lungs could maybe have burst, we might say, or something, and maybe it has like a big crater in the bottom that leads down into the lake area, potentially, right? So we can then have this down here going back to the lake. Now, this is still, you'll notice, a pretty straight line, but we can now say, okay, to get into this location, maybe we had to go through the previous way. So they came in, let's say the entryway is down here. It leads them into one of the lungs in the exact same way that they've currently been led into it, right? They just come upon the area. But during the entryway sequence, maybe we only go through some like kind of twisty, windy sets of caverns with not much there. We fight the mud antibody guardians, and we get to the lungs much, much, much quicker. Then we have the temple and the tomb over here. We have the lake down here, and we have the kind of cavern over here. So lungs, and then coming off of one of the lungs, maybe the one opposite to the one that we entered on, or the one that's on the same one that we entered on. Could be either. We have the vault that they went through, right? And now we can have a lot more of these things connected. We can reuse a lot of those descriptions. We don't have to re-describe caverns anymore, right? This is a much more compact diagram where they will start to experience this city, and Matt can put a ton of extra prep time into like the lungs of the city, right? Because every time they finish in, say, the tomb, right? When they finish with the tomb, they are going back out into the city. It also gives Matt a really good way to show things changing, to show things moving, right? They're in the city, and then they exit to go to the lake or the temple or the tomb or whatever. And then when they come back, something has changed. Time has passed. Things are happening, right? With this straight line design, you don't get that experience. He has to rely on like the description of things like falling, like, the city like crumbling as the Titan continues to move, but that is not a timer that has a consistent level of pressure. It pressured them out of the vault room at one point, but it's not pressuring them anymore because there's not clear signs of degradation all around them. Matt would have to continue to narrate those timers over and over and over, basically doing the same thing the entire time in order to get that consistent pressure out of it. Whereas if he just has this central area that they keep kind of exiting and coming back to, and you'll notice this central area isn't even one singular area. You can have multiple little subdivisions within it. But when they keep coming back to the same central area, you can show small changes to that area and say like, oh, you notice this, right? You're just adding on to the description that you already had before. Now, there hasn't been a whole lot of other locations, at least in my memory. So there's not a whole lot else to fill in here. But then the portal at the back of the vault, or no, it wasn't even the portal at the back of the vault. We could have maybe the portal room, the portal puzzle room up here, right? So the vault comes off of one of the lungs. The portal puzzle comes off of one. The tomb is over here. The lake is down there. The lake could be at the bottom of the fountain or something. Or maybe the fountain is utilizing the lake somehow, right? We can connect the fountain that he just described back to the lake. And all of these things are going to tie back to each other much more efficiently. And even if we encountered something like the locked doors in the tomb, right? It seems like the creature that was at the lake had a key that went to the tomb. But because there wasn't this big central area that the players were already aware of when they went into the tomb, because they didn't have that awareness, there was no reason for them to think that they might find a key to the tomb somewhere else in the dungeon. There was no implication that that sort of thing might be coming up. Makes totals. Again, I will defend Vax all day long for killing that guy. Whereas, if they had gone through the city to get to the tomb, and then they encounter a locked door, suddenly it is much more reasonable to think, hey, this door has a lock. Maybe let's go ransack the rest of the temple. Maybe let's go search some of the houses to see if there's anyone that has there's any priestly robes left over. Maybe we could find a key in there. Maybe we'll explore to see if there's anyone still alive that could help us get in or warn us or tell us about what that is. I think there's a good chance that they still would have just lockpicked it. They still would have just broken in. But I think there is a higher chance that they would run into those more optional things that Matt clearly had set up, right? He clearly thought that there was a possibility that they would run into the locked door, progress further, find the key on this, I think it was an Etten or something, and then come back to open up the door there. And I think that this sort of layout, this structure, makes that sort of option a lot more likely than the straight line structure, right? And even, I keep calling Matt's structure a straight line. It's technically not. There was one branching path, specifically the temple, so right, or the tomb. So it went off to there, and then it was the cavern, and then everything else has been a straight line. So there was a slight branch there, but I still think it's much more likely that something like this would have gotten them to go and explore further before just committing to breaking into the tomb. So yeah, and I see a ton of opportunities for how to integrate everything in there. And then all you have to do is make the portal puzzle dependent on one of the other rooms, right? You can still actually kind of organize it as a straight line, but instead of it being literally a forced straight line, you can say, okay, they need something from the tomb. Maybe they can't break into the tomb, so they got to get the key from the Etten. So that's number one, get the key from the Etten. Number two, get the cursed hammer from the tomb. The cursed hammer is actually the key to the vault. It allows you to get in there, and the vault maybe has an explanation or a magical seal or something that opens up the portal puzzle, right? You can still actually organize it very linearly by just having obstacles between things that are what do you call it? Reliant on previous encounters to open. And if you don't want to force your players down a super linear path, like I don't think Matt does often, you can just make it very hard DCs, which I think is exactly what Matt did with the tomb, right? The tomb, I think, was a pretty hard DC to unlock without the key. Or maybe the traps only went off because they didn't have the key. I'm not entirely sure. But you can't just have very difficult checks that maybe they can use their tools to get past. Or if their tools fail, or if they decide they don't want to use their tools, then they have a more linear path that they have to follow. But if they do use their tools, maybe they can skip parts of the path. That's one of the big benefits of having this more hub-like structure, is that they are not forced down the linear path. If they want to use their tools, they might be able to get through it even quicker and feel kind of cool doing it. I think that, there's a decent shot that Vax or Liam probably felt pretty cool when he realized that, oh, the Etten had the key. I could have just used this key to open up, but I used my tools, I used my sheet, my abilities to get past the challenge without needing that. That's a moment of feeling neat and interesting. And putting all of the options with only these, hard but not impossible blockers is a way to facilitate that feeling a lot more consistently. And if they do figure out the path, that's still a moment of realization and like a positive realization at that, right? If they figure out, oh, I bet that the key is with that, the key that we found on that guy goes to this, and then that'll open that, right? Even just figuring out what the linear path is a fun moment for the players that you just don't get in a straight line. The straight line, it takes away that moment of realization for them. And I would argue, I think it is debatable, but I would argue that while they might spend extra time trying to figure out the order, right? They might spend more time than they would in a straight line. That time that is extra on top of that is going to be roughly equivalent to the extra time you have to spend as a DM redescribing new areas, all of the wasted pacing or wasted time that comes from the straight line design. Those are going to roughly equivocate, and there's an actual benefit towards the time that you're spending, that your players are spending trying to figure out the path, as opposed to what I think is more along the lines of pure waste going on in the straight line. So, I promise, well, I don't promise, but I'm going to try to make that the last time I talk about the straight line. I think you guys know where I'm coming from at this point.
Explain why your gloves are connected to that temple, and you're going to get what, like a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger bonus for doing so, or?
Yes.
More of a beetle ball, but yeah.
Are your Timestone uncles exalted yet?
How do they feel?
Yep.
Oh, well,
Are they still? Are they still?
They're just buzzing.
Yeah. Are they still dildoing on your fingers?
Are they buzzing more?
Are they humming more?
Doesn't appear to change from
No,
the first thing.
just humming.
Step like 2 steps closer.
2 steps
temple.
closer.
Also, magical artifacts and the buzzing is a great way to guide your players towards points of interest. I've actually been doing it very recently in my campaign, using a magic item, reacting to something in the world to guide my players to particular points within a quest line. You could easily do the same thing with the Titanstone Knuckles. Not to say that Matt has to, but it is very much an option on the table. My players love it. It's like having a compass that just points to the quest objective. But if you have them just reacting, right, the magical item is just buzzing more or less, it kind of becomes a game of hot or colder, which is always fun. Or, well, maybe not always fun. It can get annoying if it's too long or too repetitive. But I think it's a good baseline for some exploration challenges.
To
Stop.
the temple.
Do they appear to be buzzing more?
Are they appearing buzzing more?
Make a perception check.
And you can always work on a perception check. Absolutely.
19.
Not bad. Nope.
I mean, is the temple on the way? Like, does it make sense to cross through the city, or does it make sense to fly up?
Stick around the edges.
We're
of
moving
the
towards
city.
Vasselheim now. We want to try. I mean, I'm kind of negative on our chances of dealing with this before Vasselheim, but that's the goal, right?
We've got some time.
I just want
and
to look and
some
see if I see
time.
stairs in the
and
wall.
I feel like this city is an opportunity to
What?
Okay, we are also
find some more advantages.
Yeah, we are also.
Yeah, what?
We are also looking for the sword of Kaz Akaz.
Here?
It's not.
Fucking
It's in the temple.
Why would Vecna keep the thing that could kill Vecna near Vecna?
I'm pulling Percy aside. I hear you, but this is a city that existed here for a long time. Vecna didn't create this city. Vecna doesn't own these people. This is just a fucking mountain that existed, and now they're going for a ride. What do these people have to do with Vecna?
It's not a city that just existed.
No?
This is a giant primordial beast that people inhabited. God only knows what existed in here.
Yeah, but as we've already seen from the other tomb, it's already been heavily plundered.
And Vecna's just a user. This place was just sitting there. He lifted it up and took it away.
But why did-
These assholes don't have anything to do
How
with
did he
Vecna.
know about it?
Yeah, why did you choose this?
How
He's a
far
fucking
away?
god now.
How far away is the temple? Do we know? Can we football range guess it?
Gods don't know
I'd say,
anything.
because you guys are dark vision,
Wouldn't be going
of
through
60
this.
feet?
I have a vision of.
I'm 30.
If gods really understood how this world works,
Do you want
this would
to,
be happening right now.
So it's just about the 50, 55 foot areas where the wall begins, then it finishes beyond that.
Percy, this shitbird has appeared.
Fucking go off, Percy. Hell yeah. I mean, I disagree with some of his logic, but if the gods really understood how the world works, this wouldn't be happening right now. Fucking copy. Absolutely.
Like 3 times, wherever we were.
Well,
He
he's not
knows a
going to be able
lot.
to do that right now because I've got a
He doesn't know
fucking
where we
ring.
are right now.
Listen,
That's fine.
And he doesn't
knows
necessarily know
this.
this place as well as I don't know.
Hang on. How long have we been in here? Versus how far have we been from Vasselheim? Because we are on a time crunch.
200 miles away, once we entered, is how far away we are from Vasselheim. 200 miles. With steps of...
200 miles.
What was the average land speed of a laden undead
Titans leave the station.
It was like
You've been within the Titan for, I'd say, roughly
a while.
Not a while. We only took a
like
short
3.5 hours, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
200
like
miles.
he's like 110 miles out from Vasselheim. Maybe.
We have
80
time
miles.
to check a temple.
All right, let's just swoop in and swoop
Okay,
out.
super
Let's go.
fucking fast.
Let's go.
This is just, I'm not even saying look in it, just let's take a look at what it
Did I
is.
see any stairs?
You do not see any staircases within a 60-foot radius of where you're
We
standing.
might be harder to spot if we stay on the ground for now anyway.
Or if we just send Vax in.
I just want to say, we gave you guys the other temple in which you found your stupid waistband.
also got really
but we got
fucked
really fucked up from it. So just weigh everything.
Okay.
Has a consequence and a price and shit. Nothing is free.
I'm
Nothing
gonna
is free,
cast
Percy.
Pass without a fucking trace. It's my last pass without a trace. But I'm afraid.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No.
What if we bring out an entire fucking city of undead dwarves?
Wait,
We'll fly away from them.
let me do
We
it.
can't
Let me
fly.
do it.
Also, incredible example of how timers can play out to or can result in interesting inter-party conflict. Because while I personally ultimately disagree with Percy, I do not think that there's going to be some substantial advantage in here that is actually going to tip the scales more than just going faster would tip them. It's not a crazy perspective, right? It's not the weirdest thing in the world. Like I said, I personally disagree, but I very much understand how a person, or especially a character, a flawed character, could come to that conclusion, especially depending on how seriously they're taking the timer. Clearly, Keyleth is taking the timer more seriously than Percy, which is incredible. Like, for everything I've said about this dungeon, the aspect of it being on top of a moving creature that has some finite and definite, but admittedly slow, speed headed towards a city, and the fact that that creature, that speed, is not quite unknowable, but would have to be experimentally derived, right? There's no equivalent that Percy can pull out of a history check. You would have to, like, somehow determine it, is awesome. It's a vague timer, and the timer's made even more vague by the fact that they know that Vasselheim is preparing for all of this, right? Even if the undead titan does reach Vasselheim, it's not going to be the end of the world, literally and figuratively, for the city. It'll have some amount of holdout. However, the moment it gets to the city, bad shit starts happening, right? Collateral damage starts being incurred. So, really, really nice soft timer, especially for the final sequence of a campaign, where the real timer here is mostly how many lives are going to be lost. And that is awesome because I think that's exactly the dichotomy here between someone who is kind of okay with some collateral damage as long as they ultimately defeat the evil, right? It's like, is an extra 100 lives worth tyranny unending into the future if they fail, right? There's a risk analysis there. There's a risk analysis of Percy wanting to make sure that they win. It is worse for everyone, for all perpetuity, if they fail. And if they take some extra time here, maybe it's only bad for a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand, whatever the number is, it's a finite number. It is a finite number of people that will experience bad things right now, as opposed to the uncountable number that will experience bad things should Vecna succeed. So there's a really interesting risk analysis that can be had between those two of, is it worth taking the extra time to prepare? And all of that is only because of the timer. If Vecna was just sitting in his tower waiting for them, that calculus would not exist.
I have passed without a trace and one more second level spell.
Oh, good. Okay.
Let's get the
I'll do it. Save yours.
Honestly, the only thing I might have done to even drive this wedge a little bit deeper is maybe hint at some things being in Thar Amphala. Although I say that, That's a big maybe. I don't even know if I would do that. I think Matt has kind of threaded the needle pretty well with this introduction of the Sword of Kaz, with the fact that Vecna did target this city. It's inside of the, like, basically all of the arguments that Percy just gave for why there might be something interesting in here, right? Like, all of that was laid out very specifically by Matt. So I don't even know if I would change any of it. I'd honestly probably have to see the back end to see how much is there actually in here to know how much I would or wouldn't hint at it. Because you don't want to hint at it too much if there isn't anything, right? If there's nothing really beneficial in here, you don't want to play too much towards it. And if there isn't anything beneficial in here, I think Matt has threaded that needle perfectly in terms of how much he's given to the players. So really nice timer work. And it's creating some very fun inter-party conflict, I would say.
I'm also going to put something on the table here. We're trying to save Vasselheim, but we're also trying to save the world. We might not be able to do this without recharging before Vasselheim.
I'm aware.
You want to go to sleep in this undead city?
No, I want to go to sleep in your
But we're
special
trying
place.
to save the world, not just a city. Not just a city.
Oh, and imagine if they didn't have the mansion. Oh, the decisions. Because right now, them recharging is purely like whether or not they want to take more time for Vasselheim, right? But imagine if they didn't have the mansion. Imagine if it was actually difficult for them to rest on top of the timer. That gives even more credence to people wanting to push forward, but that strains their resources even more. And D&D's a resource management game. Oh, imagine if they didn't have the mansion. I mean, not, obviously not Matt's fault that they have the mansion. That's D&D's fault. So I think the entire setup of this is awesome. I wish that the layout of the dungeon was a little bit different, but the high level setup of the forces acting on the characters and the players right now, fantastic. Another countdown to consider is resources. Every extra room could spell less slots at the end, whereas Percy doesn't have to worry about that as much. Exactly. Like I said, D&D's a resource management game. Stressing those resources, like the fact that the mansion exists is one of the reasons that you have to rely on timers. But broadly, creating a permanently dangerous environment, or an environment that maybe reacts to the time and gets more dangerous as time goes on, is a great way to go about that sort of thing. It can also, if we go back to the setup that I had, that's, maybe not the straight line, if it's all centered around the city, maybe they find the final place and they discover, like, okay, we could go through this more linear path that would use up less resources, but it'll take more time. We could spend some resources, try to break into the portal room, skip all that other bullshit, but that might spend a bunch of our resources, and then we'll be out of the city where it's safe to rest. So yeah, and that's not even to get into exactly what you're saying, Bad Wolf, about certain classes being more or less resilient to resource expenditure, which is why I always say D&D's a resource management game, because the classes are built to play on that dichotomy, right? In the perfect D&D setup, in the ideal, where like the design is working perfectly, the fact that the classes have different rates of resource expenditure and different reliance on rests should actually just generate inter-party conflict just by itself, right? That should be something that just generates that conflict. The only problem is that you have to make sure that regaining those resources is costly in some way, shape, or form. It either has to be costly in time, it has to be risky, like there has to be some downside to getting those resources back. And once there is, I think you're exactly correct, Bad Wolf, of like, that is probably informing Percy's thinking, whether or not Taliesin even realizes it or not, right? Not resting for Taliesin has not really been an issue for most of the campaign. He's got plenty of health. His resources are not as important to him as they are to someone like Marisha or Sam, right? So regardless of if he even is thinking about it that literally, it's almost certainly affecting his thinking, right? And we can even talk about, as a marshal, wanting magic items or, individualized, maybe consumables or extra power is something that marshals care a lot more about than casters, right? Their tools are broadly limited. And the only way that they can really expand their tool set is external. It has to be magic items. It has to be devices. It has to be gadgets and gizmos and potions. No wonder Percy wants to look for more of that. That's the only way for him to prepare. Whereas Marisha needs to consider, or Keyleth, I should say, needs to consider what spells she's preparing. Information is much more important to a full caster than it necessarily is to a marshal. A marshal has all of their tools available all the time. Same thing with known casters. But for a prepared caster, like a druid, more information and getting more information as soon as possible so that you have more time to potentially rest and switch your prepared spells, that is much more paramount to that class being effective, or being maximally effective, we might say. We don't know, of course, but I think it's a reasonable stance to take that the classes that they are playing are having a substantial influence on what side of the argument they're on here. And the fact that there is an argument in the first place, I think, can be credited to Matt. So a really nice dynamic going on here. I'm really liking it.
So sacrificing Vasselheim so that we can feel better about a fight?
So that
we can win a
actually
fight.
What if we
defeat
lose
a
the
god.
fight?
Oh, you just heard it. You just heard it. Listen to that. That is the difference in the risk analysis, is these two lines right here. Sacrificing Vasselheim so that we can feel better about a fight. And then Percy responds, so that we can win the fight. That's the difference. Mwah. Perfect.
Sing Vasselheim so that we can feel better about a fight?
So that
we can
we
win
can
a
actually
fight.
What if we
defeat
lose
a
the
god.
fight, Scanlan?
Then who cares? We're
Then
all
who
dead.
fucking cares? Vasselheim's gone, Westron's gone, Kaylee's gone.
I called it. How does he do it? How does he do it? How does the question of how does he do it? Because it's the thing that will happen. That's how he does it. This is an inevitable conflict in the situation that they're in, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Everything's fucking gone if we fuck this up.
Well, let's just stay on the path and see how long it takes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
We don't need to make that decision
How
now.
about this?
Fair
How about this?
point.
Hang, hold.
Hey, the caster asking to get more information. Just keep plowing forward. We'll get more information. We'll consider it then.
We still don't know. Wait. We still don't know how to get up there, right?
Is that purple eyeliner?
Yeah. Do you like it?
And, oh my god, I didn't even notice, the other marshal. And the two other marshals. Travis wasn't really participating much in the discussion, but isn't it so interesting that the two casters are on the opposite side of the two marshals? At least, primarily marshals. And then, Travis Grog is just not participating a whole lot. We don't really know what side of the argument he's necessarily on. And Vex is taking a much more backseat role. Maybe it's because Ranger is kind of both. I don't want to claim that class choice is the only thing influencing this. I would actually think that it's probably more to do with their characters. But it's interesting how the pattern lines up.
Oh, thank you. It's a little metallic. That's cool. Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah.
I thought I was waiting for you. Okay. I hate to say split the party, but what if
We split the party.
we split the party? What if a few of you check out your fucking temple, and then the rest of us
Fly
try to
around?
figure out a way to get up?
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Okay.
I'll vote for a temple party.
Temple party.
That's my
Marshall, I bet they're going to split it like this. I bet they're going to split in V's.
Temple party. Who else is on temple party?
They need somebody who can help them
I
in
hate
there.
the idea, but I'm the stealthiest
Yeah, you
motherfucker
should
in this
go.
room.
And then you three on the carpet, you on the broom.
I mean, I need the carpet.
So wait, just the two of you are gonna go check out the
They're just
carpet?
looking
Or is
for
it-
Vax
Vax is
myself.
going in with you.
Yeah, Vax myself.
I feel like
Scanlan,
one person
Keyleth.
with magic should go with them.
That's true.
I'll go with them.
Well,
I'll
also,
go with them.
we're all earpieced.
I'll go with them.
Okay. So
Me?
Grog.
So everybody but Keyleth.
But also their characters are informed by their class choice, so it's kind of impossible to split those completely. Absolutely. It is complicated. It is definitely a complex tapestry of why they might be on certain sides of the argument. But super interesting that it does follow some patterns.
No, it's Keyleth, Vex, and Pike,
Pike.
going
I'll go look
searching.
for stairs. And the rest of the,
The boys are going in the
idiots
temple,
are
the
going in
girls
the
are
temple.
going searching.
Okay, cool. I'm
This
on board.
is in no way, by the way, an amazing mirror of that one time underneath Craig.
Oh my god, you're going to find
Yes.
Kuroda
They're
again.
going to just find another Clarota.
The boys all die, the girls go to glory.
Let's go.
I go with his Percy before it goes.
Oh, wait, no,
Don't
yeah.
die in the stupid temple.
I will not die in the stupid temple. I promise to at
I'm
least
going to...
I slap him in the face.
Right on Scanlan. Sorry, Percy.
All right, so who's
Vax and I
traveling
look at
left?
each other and go, you're not gonna.
Who's
you won't
traveling
die
left?
because of that.
Boys,
Girls are going to look for stairs. Boys
Okay.
are going in the stupid temple.
I yanked the druid in for a kiss.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Shit.
What?
Your fucking ring.
Fuck my fucking ring.
No, we can't.
The ring. We can't.
We can't split the puzzle.
Okay, cancel the party. We all go looking for.
You know, I forgot about the ring. Good call. Also, I should mention the ring as far as it affects this whole situation of them not being able to split the party. Very interesting. Really nice way to deal with the omnipotent enemy. I kind of wish they'd gotten it even earlier, frankly. Just because Vecna's omnipotence was, I think, annoying for gameplay and for story cohesion. So I'm glad that they have it now. We won't dwell too much on it. So I'm glad they have it now. And it is an interesting. My gut reaction isn't, oh, I love it so much that they can't split the party. Splitting the party is always kind of a mixed bag. There's a lot of interesting things you can do, but there's a lot of strain on the DM when it comes to running a split party. So I think it's a little bit of, half of one, or a half dozen of one, six of the other. That said, if you are wanting to, guarantee going faster and being streamlined, which I think is a fair thing for this late in the game, having a magical item that just emanates an aura that they have to stay within or face some very negative consequence is definitely a way to make the actual play run faster. Now, you might get a situation like this where maybe there's a little bit more analysis paralysis, maybe they take a little bit longer to decide what they're going to do because they all have to stay together. But it's at least a defensible way to make sure that the pace, I think it'll, no matter what, I think it'll probably keep the pace up, it'll keep them in their characters more. Splitting the party always has a lot of negative pacing effects. So I think it's totally fair. If they're really in fiction time constrained, there's something to be said for splitting the party allows them to make more interesting choices with their in fiction time. They can accomplish more things, which gives them more options. But if you're not wanting to run a really complicated, time constrained set of combat, social exploration challenges, whatever, if you're not really interested in that, I think it's fair at this point in a campaign to introduce a mechanism to kind of prevent splitting the party. Who knows if that was Matt's goal with it, but it's certainly having that effect.
For the stairs.
Oh, motherfucker.
Oh, you asshole! Stop it! Stop it!
He was really excited about it. He was really excited about it.
Good jump.
Oh my
Good.
god.
I was waiting on that.
Oh my god, he was so excited about it.
All right, into the temple.
You're right, Bad Wolf. He was like, oh, I was waiting on that.
Come on, let's go.
Let's go. We stealth towards the temple.
I was like, oh, I guess the
I think there are arguments you could make for why it's maybe not the best decision, but I think I would ultimately come down on Matt's side on it being a good thing to introduce at this point, and a good mechanism for this final exploration. I think it's the right way to go.
literally had this conversation an hour ago. Okay.
Whatever we do, we can't split the party. Okay, we're gonna split the party.
Save our asses.
All right.
Thanks, Sam.
Like cabin in the woodshed.
40 feet in advance, Vax walks ahead of the group,
Stay. Yeah.
hating himself. Here we go.
So, go for it. Where
If you stay within 30
checking
feet,
for
you pass
traps?
without
I
a
am
trace. Still
checking
affects you.
for enemies.
Okay.
Hiding.
So as you push forward,
We're stealth. We're passed without a trace.
Okay, then roll some stealth, guys.
She passed without a trace. Dustin.
Right, then roll some stealth.
Listen to them.
Oh,
We're all rolling stealth.
34.
Plus 10.
Oh,
Wait.
25.
26.
Nice.
26.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Get high.
39.
Yes!
Natural
Wait.
one.
Are
No.
you serious?
He's so excited about that temple.
Natural 20 for Pike.
Nice.
Oh, wait, she gets disadvantage.
Choose the boots to make it not
Right.
so
Yes!
First time ever.
Yay!
But that's a lot of good.
A natural 20.
So much good for one shitty.
So,
I thought.
What?
you begin to push forward past the
Okay, before we see the results of this, I'm just going to put it out there. This is how it, like, when it describes group checks in the DMG, and also now in Daggerheart, but also in Blades, right? Whenever you're making a group check where the entire group is rolling, especially a group this big, I always just take the majority. The majority is the result. Or you elect a leader. If you want it to be down to a single roll, you elect a leader, and they're the only one that rolls. Blades has a kind of complicated way that it handles it, but overall, it's still like a group check. It is not everyone rolls, and if one person fails, then you get some negative interaction or some negative result. We'll see how Matt handles it, but when everyone in the group rolls above a 20 and then one person rolls a -1, even if you want to take crits into account, right? If you want to take a -1 as, -2 toward like 2 failures when you're calculating the entire group's failure success ratio, even if you want to be more aggressive about the failure success ratio, you want to say, okay, it needs 3/4 of people to succeed, or it needs 3/5 of people to succeed. Maybe in this case, you need 4 out of 6, or 4 out of 7 for them to succeed, slightly over the majority, right? No matter how you want to dice it up, I cannot recommend against just having it be like one person fails, the entire group fails. I cannot recommend against that enough. This is a classic conversation we have. The more rolls you have, the more likely someone is to fail, especially if you're running skill crits and a natural 1 just means you fail no matter what your actual roll total was, right? That's generally how they run. Especially in that case, that means that you have a 1 in 20 chance per person of them failing, and if you take them failing as the entire group failing, then that is a 1 in 20 chance multiplied by 7. That is a 7 in 20 chance that the entire group fails. Higher than a third chance that someone rolls a natural 1 and everyone fails. That, especially in a group this big, that's why you just gotta run it as majority. You can't have one person fails, the entire group fails. The math of it just breaks apart. Unless you are wanting to run no. No. It's just, yeah, no. I was about to say maybe there's a certain style of game. I think if you're in a style of game where maybe that's the right way to run it, you'll know and you'll ignore my advice. Anyone that's not sure, I don't think should run it that way.
the cracked fountain, heading ahead of everyone, keeping an eye out for what's ahead of you. The high walls of the temple-like structure begin to reveal themselves, standing ominous over the debris-strewn streets, with shattered carts and bone fragments from faintly quaking beneath every footfall of the walking mountain that you currently are walking through. You see long decomposed dwarvish bodies brutalized beyond reanimation, lying scattered across the broken street paths ahead of you, with deep grooves marking the splintered bone. A tangled network of partially ruined catwalks begin to reveal themselves above you. Carved from the mountain contains a ghostly image of a multi-level metropolis long fallen. You make a perception check.
Oh no!
What do you see? 29.
Whoa.
You can see, as soon as you get to where the fountain is, the center of the street ahead of you, dozens of slow, shifting creatures moving throughout the streets and rubble of crumbling structures. You can see now many of the undead citizens of the catacombs are now wandering, shaken awake by the lumbering titan that now carries them within. You also see a very, very faint blue, pulsing glow emanating from one of the windows of the temple.
Can we put the Goliath on the carpet so he doesn't kick something or fart or, be himself?
We don't know that he rolled shittily.
I know that, but he's a big, blundering, motherfucking asshole when he wants to be.
On the chain, literally on the
It'd be a good
text
idea.
Which, as you're saying this, you hear a... and you glance over real fast and watch as Grog's walking by, and the edge of his... which weapon do you have to him right now? You have the...
Blood axe.
Blood axe. The blood axe just hits the edge of what looks to be a large dwarven statue that had kind of fallen off at a corner angle, and is currently being held by some sort of a small barrel. And as the axe hits it, it shifts and rolls and comes to a rest for a second with this clattering, grinding sound. Parts of it kind of chip and break, but most of it remains strong and sturdy upon impact. At which point you see at the edge of your visual range, about 7 of the wandering creatures go duck and cover, and begin slowly slinking their way in the direction of the noise.
So a rock just fell?
Big statue just fell
And is in pieces?
shattered.
Parts of it are broken. It's still pretty sturdy.
Let's try and serpentine around and see if we can just trace back.
Wait, and they're to the right or the left or ahead of us?
They're ahead of you.
Ahead of us?
Do they say
Okay. I still wouldn't run it this way, but there is something to be said for it seems like Matt is not saying that they necessarily notice them, but that they notice something, and they are going to come over and investigate. There is still an opportunity for the entire party to escape this scenario that they found themselves in, and as long as they don't have to roll another group stealth check, right? If they can just make a free decision, essentially, to get out of the way, go somewhere so that the undead things don't find them, and then they, just lose interest and move on, and there's not another stealth check rolled or another, check rolled in general, I think that's at least okay. It didn't result in the entire party failing. It was more along the lines of like a partial failure. It's like success with fear in Daggerheart, or just a partial success in Bitty. There's maybe Matt's tapping into a little bit of granularity of success or failure, or degrees of success, degrees of failure. I still wouldn't, because it means that if one of the members of your party is not very stealthy, it's just very, very likely for you to never be able to achieve a full success, which then provides a really strange pressure on always wanting to keep the party split so that only the stealthy people go and do stealthy stuff, and then they have to come and report back to the less stealthy folk. That means that all information discovery is happening by the stealthy folk. Like, there's a lot of bad externalities that come when the not so mechanically stealthy people literally cannot accompany the stealthy people without being a massive detriment. It makes sense in fiction. Don't get me wrong. It's a very grounded way to run it. It just has a lot of negative gameplay externalities. And at the end of the day, this is a game. It is not purely a grounding story. And you have to keep that in mind. So, in terms of realism, I get it. But this is one of the times where I think the game design just trumps realism in this case. Running out this way heavily encourages them to split the party along stealth lines. That's usually a downside, but I guess maybe if you want, I would say that it's exactly what I was just saying. And I would say that it is not always a downside, but it is normally a downside. Even within a singular campaign. Maybe you want it for a single dungeon or a single situation, but it is not worth establishing that precedent for that minority of cases, at least in my opinion. It's not worth establishing that precedent for the minority of cases when it is a detriment to the majority of cases. That's my stance on it, at the very least. And I think that based on the fact that Daggerheart runs it with majority rules in group checks, I would guess that Matt eventually changes his mind on how to run these things, so I won't harp on it too much, but I did want to, talk through the example for someone that maybe hasn't thought through whether they're going to do majority rules in group checks or not.
yes? Did it look like they saw us?
Jenga. Go to the left. Go to the left. Okay. Go to the left. Jenga. Can we go grog on the carpet now?
Yep.
We're trying to go up, right? We're trying to go up?
No,
we're
we're trying to
not.
go towards the temple.
Towards that pulsing
So we've doubled back,
We've
right?
got a
Is that
little
what's
bit of business, a little bit of
Very good point, Ping Pong. Yeah. Yeah. it's so true. Stealth is immensely powerful in D&D. It is a boon to almost every type of encounter that you could run into, but especially combat encounters, which are the main encounter type in D&D. Yes, there is no reason to punish it harder. And having people that are bad at stealth still is like a negative thing, even in majority rules. It basically always gives you like a passive -1 to the group calculation, right? It's always, or not always, but a lot of the times a failure. And like I said, if you want to roll with crits, you want to give like a natural 1 is 2 failures and a 20 is 2 successes, kind of like death saving throws. I think that's totally reasonable and maybe even kind of interesting. But yeah, it can't just be one person fails, the whole group fails. Yeah.
Activity ahead of us, so we want to go to the left. Go to the left. Go to the left.
All right, we move accordingly.
All right, so you guys move along the left,
Yes.
and curve around the side, and as you begin to move along the edge, you watch as about 8 of these mostly skeletal dwarvish corpses begin to shamble in the direction where the noise came from. You can see elements of their long mummified skin pulled tight against elements of the rib cage and the skull, bits of chipped teeth now broken against whatever things it's attempted to chew on in its long life. As they move past, 2 of them kind of glance over in the direction of Grog, and then all of them shift over in the direction and begin rushing forward in your path.
What's the distance?
At this point, they're probably about 50 or so feet from you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, okay.
We don't want to make too much noise. I'm gonna shoot a couple.
Well, we could just go straight up.
Not all.
There's only like 8 of them. We can take 8 undead.
Pickle walks forward and takes a knee and waits with a holy symbol of Serenray, waiting for them.
I take 2 of them by surprise. That's auto crit.
Jesus. Okay. Vax does the same, watching his badass sister, and Pike waits to turn whatever's left of them.
Yeah, they're super silent arrows.
Arrows are quiet.
So what happens first?
All right, so she's preparing for it, right?
Yeah, she's waiting till she sees them.
Oh, well, she also has dark vision.
Okay.
She already sees.
So she's waiting till they're within range of her holy
Which
abilities.
is what's the radius of that?
That's a good question, because I'm a rogue paladin.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you know, there's even something here, like, I won't rehash any of it. This is clearly not going the way that I would run it. But there is even something to say of, like, if them moving away was free, essentially, and there's, like, no real shot that the undead would detect them, and they just got to move to somewhere else, there is potentially something interesting here in terms of the environment of, like, letting the players know, like, oh, this is, like, the primary sensory input that the undead care about. Like, sound is very important, maybe as opposed to smell or sight or whatever. You know, there's maybe something interesting there. And like, you can have this description as long as there's no actual downside, unlike what we are actually seeing. So, you know, there's maybe a way to run these exploration or environmental, like, descriptions in an interesting way, as long as there's no actual, like, failure consequence at the end of it, which in this case there was. If you need for it to make narrative sense to do majority rules, Vax just gave you one. In universe, he's directing the less stealthy members and helping them. That's basically how Blades in the Dark justifies it. And I think it's totally fair. You know, Blades in the Dark elevates a leader and then just says that the leader guides the others through the check or whatever. I think that's, personally for me, I don't even need that sort of explanation. But if you do, I think that's enough. If you want to go even further with it, you can say, especially for like a stealth check sort of deal, you can say that the, you know, any failures get drowned out within the broad environmental noise. There's not enough of a concentrated failure reaction for anything to take notice. Like, I think there are ways to justify it if you really, really need to. And actually, before we get into this, before we see how this all resolves, I need to take a quick break and go to the bathroom. So, I actually have a BRB screen set up. Hooray! And I will be right back. See you guys in a second. What's up? We're back. Hello. That was so much. I'm used to the fading transitions that I used to have set up. I will recreate those someday, but not yet. What's up? We're back. I still haven't dropped any frames. And the storm's still going on. Let's go. No dropped frames. Knock on wood. Let's get back into it. I mean, we talked about the stealth stuff. Let's see how it all resolves.
Damn it.
That's all right.
What if I look in the sorcerer rules?
No, this is for 30 feet.
30 feet. 30 feet. So she's waiting for the twins to do their work, and anything that's left over, she's going to scatter.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So she holds position.
So it's auto crit?
They know where.
They know you're there.
Grog's here.
It's not it's not a surprise. Instead, there's a threat. And
okay.
rushing, but you do have advantage on the hits. So they don't see you.
Well, great. That's great. 20.
No, it definitely hits.
Okay. And
5.
oh, the other one super duper hits. It's a 19,
Alrighty.
so plus 14.
25, 31, natural 20.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and roll damage on this.
Okay.
Are you guys shooting 2 different skeletons or 1 each?
I'll do one.
I'm after my sister. She talked before I did.
I'll see how the first arrow hits. 15. Oh, I didn't Hunter's Mark.
Nope.
Whatever. 15, 16. 2 lightning damage. Do I add anything? Oh, and sneak attack.
Been a while.
I'll do my D&D. Plus 10 sneak attack.
Okay, so the first skeleton, the arrow hits it, and the torso just explodes behind, with ribs shattering and scattering across the stonework. Its body falling and collapsing to the ground.
I hit another one.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Oh, we go first. That's advantage. Do I get natural 20s? No. Okay.
15.
Just the one.
14 plus 4 lightning damage. And that is plus 8.
Okay, so 26. This one right behind it, its jaw kind of unhinged slightly, its tongue kind of made of this slick, rotting material that kind of dangles beneath, like through the hole in the bottom of the jaw. Comes around the corner, and you just watch as part of its head explodes off one side from the secondary arrow, taking out what remains in the center of its skull, and the body just crumbles to the ground. 2 skeletons down.
Sneak attack damage hits the first time we connect, right?
Yeah,
So
and
the
that
first
one,
one.
you don't have to roll damage for that
Okay,
one.
so-
Oh, sorry. I did sneak attack on the second arrow.
We can only do sneak attack once per.
Okay, so
once per round.
I did 8 damage too much.
Yes,
It was still enough.
Okay.
You don't have to roll damage for sneak attack.
Okay, so then that one's gone.
That one, the third skeleton now is just ruined.
Okay.
You hit it with the arrow in the middle of the spinal column, and it folds in itself.
Okay. So Paladin action, and my bonus action. So that's the first of 3.
Okay.
The last one's the one that was a critical hit. So the second one goes on to the next whole skeleton is just an 8.
Okay, this one actually, the arrow slides into the side of the skull, and it keeps coming forward towards Grog.
Okay, and then the last critical hit, which is Whisper again, because it bounced back is 2, it's 8 is 10. Wait, 2. So hold on. 2 and 3. Plus the. Okay, so it's not that much. Is 15 total.
Okay, so that one does finish it. So that's 3 skeletons down. Grog, I want you to quickly just individually roll an initiative check, please, with me.
Natural 20.
Okay.
With Gil's death.
So as you guys are watching this happen, the other 5 rush in to close the gap, but you are at the ready, and you get to strike before they do.
Nice. Am I hitting them? Yeah, okay. Oh, reckless. Great. 31 for the first one.
That hits.
Okay, cool.
Your minimum damage will kill them.
Okay, good.
So,
That's true, yeah.
so as the first one that comes up towards you, you swing upward. As you slam into it, you watch its bony body just blows up against the side of the nearby stone building, and then just kind of scrapes to the ground.
Gonna
Coming to
use
rest.
the other 2, the other strike on another.
Yes, you can.
Reckless weapon. That'll hit.
If there's anything
Like
left,
plus 30. 30 plus.
If there's anything left on Grog by the end of this, I'm going to just try and swipe them off with my sword.
32.
32. Alrighty. Yeah, so 2 more detonate on this point. So there's 3 left. They're closing in on Grog. Does Pike want to take her turn, or is she going to?
We might want to save that turn to undead, right?
No,
You're letting
I
me
think
go
we
or
should
not?
save.
Because
How many
she's
does she
whispering.
have?
I've already said it, but she's whispering me to hold. So
Yeah,
Pike could.
I don't think
she's
Pike
half a
should
Pike
do
right now. You're half a Pike right now.
I'd like to pop in and see if I can take a couple.
How many does she have?
Make an initiative.
All right.
Don't shoot, Percy.
All right. I'm not shooting. I'm going to use my sword.
Pike, Pike
16.
holds, breathing hard, looking at them coming on.
16. Yeah, that beats my one. So yeah,
So-
as the 3 remaining ones are charging in towards Grog.
I'm going to run in with the sword, draw the silvered sword, and take a few. I'm going to take some swipes. Go for it. So that's let's just take 3 swipes right out of here.
Pike can use her mace on anything that's left in that whole area.
That's 1 natural 20. One natural 19. Do I crit on a 19 with the sword or no?
No.
Okay, never mind. And a 2. But that might be enough because I have a really high. It's a 15 is my lowest to hit.
Okay.
It's 15 hit.
15 does it, yes.
So the 15 is 1.
What was that?
That's
My heart.
14 piercing damage to the first one with a silvered sword. I don't know.
Okay,
if silver
you
matters.
rush up and you just carve through the first skeleton. It breaks into the ground in front of you.
Number 2 is 13 points of damage to the second one.
Okay. The second one, you go ahead and bring the blade down into the skull and cleave it in half. You watch as part of its skull just breaks off at the side, and the jaw just falls to the ground. The rest of it just crumbles into place.
I twirl around, flip around, and take my third wonderful pirouette attack,
I'm
which
picturing
is
like Princess Bride when he's in the hallway and he like does the.
which is 20 points of damage.
Okay, and as the final one lunges forward, kind of in a fervent, strangely faster than you expect for a skeletal undead, it begins to just accelerate towards Grog. And with that, you just take the blade out and take the head right off at the neck, and it falls and crumples to the ground.
So it's like 28 days later zombies versus.
Or at least this one seemed to-
Dead
28
zombies.
days they run.
Yeah, these are
He said
shambles.
that they were like.
Oh,
fast.
the last one seemed to go.
last
It was
one.
flavored.
Okay.
I was fast.
Hell yeah, Matt. Yeah. Yeah. Look, sometimes it's just flavor, man. It's really funny because I was literally just writing a note about how, and I mean, again, how does he fucking do it? It's assuming that the stealth check had to resolve the way it did. I don't mind how the rest of this is handled. And I said, a quick little hand stop helps characterize the threat in the city while letting the players have a bit of combat fun for the second. The characterization might even be useful later if Vecna utilizes any similar undead in future battles. And you can immediately see that is exactly what Marisha was doing. Marisha is trying to pick up context clues from how this little ant stomp is going, how the undead are reacting to what's going on, to try and glean information for later combats, right? She's like, oh, so these are like 28 days later zombies, right? Like she's trying to work that into her mental model for what spells she takes, or just preparation in general for future combats. So, it's it's worth considering that is like what's happening here. I also, though, I totally don't blame Matt for like starting to have a little bit of a description. And then she's like, well, what about this? And then he's like, look, man, it was just flavor. I've been there. I've definitely been there. Sometimes you include something for flavor and then the players dig into it more and you're like, dude, maybe don't think about it that hard. Maybe don't think about it that hard, please. Please. So, super fair on Marisha's side. I have to say it's fair. I predicted that would be the effect of this. Of course I would think it's fair. And also super fair on Matt's end to just be like, hey, that particular thing, just flavor.
Okay,
Narrative flavor.
okay. Just I want to make sure it's special.
Okay. As you finish
want special.
the fray and hold yourself, you wait and wait. You do not seem to hear or notice any more advancing undead from that direction.
Okay, so how about I don't move, and somebody with flying ability go check out that blue glowy window?
We have to stick together.
Is the glowy window within 60 feet?
No, it's far.
Well, when we were at the opening, we were 50 to 60 feet away.
Yeah,
from the front.
exactly.
I mean,
So it can't be that
the
far.
entranceway of the temple where you guys were at the time was about 50 feet from you, but you went across the other side of the hall, so now it's...
Dude, speaking of a uniquely troublesome aspect of not doing majority rules in this case is that they can't split the party. So if Grog just continues to fail stealth checks, he is just like an active detriment to the rest of the party that has to be there. It is essentially imposing his character deficiencies on the rest of the party forcibly, without an option. Kind of like earlier with him reading and then Matt saying, oh, fucking 25 minutes pass or whatever. Actually really similar to that, forcing Grog's character deficiencies onto the rest of the party and giving them like an explicit, detriment because of how he built his character. I can tell you right now, it doesn't feel good to play that character that is being a detriment to the rest of the party. Then your options become, I either remove myself from the situation and then I don't get to play the game that we're all here to play so that my build does not detriment the rest of the party, or I act as a detriment to the rest of my party, even though, especially when we have 6 fucking characters in the party, my presence is not that important. It's a bad decision to make someone make.
About 100 feet from you.
Let's
So we
make
can
our way
go
to the
back.
temple.
And at this distance, you can see like the bottom of this temple. It's a round, almost cylindrical building, Colosseum-esque, and there's a small square window about every 25 or 30 or so feet, and it is big. It's a large, but you can see that faint glow between multiple windows from this distance.
So should we fly up to that window with the blue glow?
I think it'd be safer to stay on ground level and sneak.
Okay,
Because if
let's
we're in
sneak.
the air, they're going to see us.
That's true.
Let's do it.
We still have pass without a trace, so let's
Yeah.
go.
We don't have. Oh,
Yes,
we
we
do.
do.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. So now that this brief combat has finished, those who took place in it, which would be you, Vax, Grog, and Percy, have to remake your self checks, please.
I'm okay with that.
You're like, lovely.
Yes, much better.
Yeah, that's all right.
I get it. Like, I get it. But also, do they, man? I mean, I am in the school of if the situation hasn't changed, they shouldn't be able to remake a check, right? If the situation hasn't changed, not only should they not get to, but they should not be able to, right? If the situation in fiction has not changed. Now, there's an argument that it has changed in this case. Several things died and they attacked and whatever. But, like, fundamentally, has it changed? Like, the change is purely that there are 7 less things able to detect them, right? So, like, do we need to make another snow drink? I don't know.
Back to stuff again.
What about Pike? She just knelt down. She didn't really fight.
She stepped out of her stealth. She was making herself visible, so she would have
My
to
natural
as well.
20 for Pike. Wasted.
23.
We still pass without a trace.
Yeah.
Wasted.
I didn't do anything.
26.
Okay.
Keep that concentration.
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 You're the doctor. Keep your patients on the run.
30 for Pike.
Okay.
29 for me.
All right. You guys begin to slowly make your way along the left wall of this large cavern.
37, by the way.
Okay, good enough. As you slowly move through the shadows, dodging through open doorways and through windows, trying the best you can to stay out from the center thoroughfare of this opening, you see more and more of these undead.
Do we?
Dozens, maybe even 100 at least across your path at the perimeter of your visual range, and you can see in the catwalks above too, with the faint bit of the orange glow occasionally shapes kind of breaking across the orange. This entire cavern is swarming.
Do we still have
Shambling skeletons.
The thing.
Oh, the filter? Or the sensor? That's
Do we
right.
have it in the bag of holding?
We also have the herbs.
I do have the
we
herb.
made
What if
more
we use
herbs.
it? What if
Just
we
in
use it and
case.
we just...
I
Does that
did
work with all
craft
undead?
some of those herbs.
It just repels them.
Yeah, right?
When it's time.
Isn't it
We don't have a lot of it.
Yeah, it's very, very,
We
very
only
small
have it.
amount
We only
of the
have-
herb.
No, I totally agree. Negative view. There's a level of a reaction, and I think I'm always a proponent of have a conversation after the session, and I think that kind of naturally happens in person. It needs to be a little bit more thoughtful when you're playing online, but in general, I'm a fan of talking about the session after it finishes rather than during. But I think it's also super fair to give that sort of like very fast reaction of like, wasted the 20, boop, 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 boop. And definitely don't linger on it. I'm very, especially if it's not, like, we can linger on things that you're going to use like a safety tool on, right? We can linger on like something that's like an X moment or like a line or a veil. Of course, we should linger on those things and talk them through. We can totally stop play for that to make sure everyone's comfortable. But if it's just like a little thing where you're just like, I don't really like how Matt handled that, I think the range of reaction is anywhere from 0 to kind of what Laura did there. I think that's all solid. And especially giving a small reaction can maybe give Matt a little bit of something to think on. It can give him a bit of an insight into your emotional state in that moment. One of the reasons that I like to talk directly after the session is so that emotions are still fresh. And arguably, they're never fresher than in the exact moment you feel them. So giving some level of reaction is totally chill, of course. But especially not lingering on it. Just giving the reaction, moving on, pressing forward, and then you can have a longer conversation about it later. Yeah, I do like how they're reacting to it.
Is it ready to go, though? If we're
Let's
so-
prepare it and when it's time.
Is it ready to go, though? I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
So we'll just
I
get
spent that time. I spent time during the break.
Sensor.
It's just burning the herbs though. You don't need
We
the
have the
sensor.
herbs.
Okay.
We have the herbs.
Hold it in your hands while your hands are glowing.
Do we have a sense of where we are,
That is-
where we started in this giant cavern, or are we totally fucking turned around?
No, I mean, you have a decent sense. You are at this point maybe 100 to 150 feet from where you began.
Okay.
Because you're moving slowly. Staying stealthily, you're moving very carefully and very slowly. And judging by the shape of the cavern and where you are currently now, you're about halfway through it. Or close to halfway.
It's good that we didn't go on the catwalk.
We're continuing to the temple,
Yeah,
right?
just keep moving slowly.
The temple's on the opposite.
I don't think those distances make sense, but I'm honestly so mentally turned around at what's going on here that I'm not gonna worry about it too much.
Really looking
Oh,
forward.
all the way on the other side. I thought it was central.
Sorry. When you entered the entrance,
Yeah.
the temple was to the front and to the right of you. You guys curved around the left side of it, keeping a view on it so you could see it from across the way.
Right.
Are you making your way then across
Back
the temple?
towards the temple.
So it's pressed against the opposite wall of this big place?
Fucking exclamation point, this scene could use a whiteboard.
Oh,
And are the undeads all around the temple?
They're further into the portion. There's nothing directly around the outside of the temple.
Okay.
So you guys curve around to the entrance where you came and slowly make your way towards where the temple emerges.
I don't actually have a command for exclamation point whiteboard, but maybe I should. Maybe I should just make exclamation point commands for any for all of the things that I talk about all the time. Because this scene could use a whiteboard.
Is from the rock wall. It's built, about a third or so of its exterior wall is actually built into the side of this cavern, and the large cylindrical-like Colosseum temple structure curves outward. And you can see, as you get closer to it, there's maybe 3 floors to it, but edges of the top wall have crumbled inward, and you can see areas where it looks like it's sustained some physical damage or eroded over time. You eventually make your way around the outside wall of the temple to one of the first doorways, and it's just an archway, maybe 6 feet tall, about 4 feet wide. Very simple. This is an old temple.
Now, blue light you talked about coming from one specific source or all over the place? Every window.
Is there a story?
It looks to be coming from the base.
From down below.
Can we see in one of the windows?
You get a couple looks at me, perception check.
Are there any bones lying around anywhere else?
Plenty.
I'm gonna pick up 2 bones, give them to Simon 2, and tell him to go across the street like 50 feet away from us. Just wait there in some building. Hold these bones.
You watch these 2 little bone shards kind of slowly glide over
Now play the spoons.
and then stand there.
34.
Okay, as you pull up to the window and glance down, you immediately look inside the temple, and you see about 30 or so silhouettes of shambling dwarven corpses, all standing inside the base floor of this temple. It's the silhouettes and shapes because they're all faintly outlined from what appears to be the source of this blue light. You see a small, maybe baseball-sized bluish crystal that is just resting, not in the perfect center of the temple, but kind of somewhere in the open middle floor area, and it looks like these 30 undead are just surrounding it and standing.
Smash and grab. You could go in there, get that thing, be out before they even saw you in there.
Also, have your unseen servant make a bunch of noise and have them all.
It'd be a distraction.
Yeah. Making any kind of noise will draw small crowds in this general.
How far away can he be?
He's 50 feet away right now, and he's waiting to make noise.
What if he were just to go in and pick up and go in and get it himself? He's invisible.
He could.
He is invisible, isn't
He could just go pick it up and come right back.
Get him to see if we do it. See, but first don't tell him to come right out. Tell him to like kind of walk a little bit to see if they follow the light.
Yeah.
What are our options if that doesn't work?
If he
I love it.
Bambi,
crystal
smash and grab.
and it doesn't work or it doesn't move,
I mean, I want to do that. If that doesn't work, I can click the boots and I can be there in a heartbeat and run. But what do we do next?
How many times do you have
we need
those
an
as
escape
well?
plan, right?
Well,
So how many can fit on the carpet?
this
How
goes
many can
back
go
to
on?
my conversation with you, which is, are we going to find a pocket and rest?
Yes, but not here.
Agreed, but we're talking about Vasselheim, and is Vasselheim,
I think that
damage to Vasselheim a sacrifice needed to be ready to do what's necessary?
Making sure no zombies
But
are
look,
approaching us
if
as
he
they have
destroys
in my
Vasselheim, he does his miracle, his display of power.
he
Right?
can't-
He will
he can't
be
destroy
even
Vasselheim.
stronger.
Right.
That is not an option.
And now the marshal joins the other side of resting, to rest or not to rest. It's interesting. Because that's a good argument that hadn't been brought up yet. If he manages to destroy Vasselheim, it might not just be that there is collateral damage. It might be that he gains strength from doing so. And Grog knows all about displays of power.
if we
Interesting.
were to be clever, if we're at the edge of Vasselheim, the Vasselheim forces will be distracting his forces, so we'll have less to deal with.
Yeah.
So we want this fight to happen at the
right
edge.
there.
So we're talking about no rest before
No, we
final
could
deal.
potentially
Short rest,
rest.
at least.
I'm not talking about a short rest.
There will not be a long rest. I
There
don't
might be.
There might be, but I would. if we
Not
can
without
avoid
him
it-
spilling into Vasselheim.
I've been very conservative with what I've
Yeah,
been
we
doing
all
for a
have.
reason.
I don't
Very
think long
conservative.
rest is in the cards, but
I've only burned one thing that requires a long rest.
I mean, I agree with Grog. We can't sacrifice having him gain all of those followers, because then the only other option would be murder a lot of his followers, which I'm not really comfortable with.
and he may be too strong at that point.
We don't need to discuss this now.
Right,
We
okay.
just need to get the
It's
crystal
fine,
and
it's
get the fuck
fine.
out of here.
If we can pull this off without burning anything important, then it doesn't matter.
I just want to go on record and say I think this is stupid. Okay,
think
let's go.
That crystal looks really appetizing, and I want it.
How about we get ready to leave? So I'll get on the carpet.
Yeah, with the 11th hour.
It
I'll
looks
get on the
really
carpet.
super magical.
Who's on the broom with Vex?
Me.
But no, who is on the broom with you?
I'll be on the brim with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
How the rest?
Do you,
How
want, do you want to get on the carpet with
Yeah,
me?
of course.
Okay, good.
But
I have
there's
to come
still
with you
more.
because I have the pass without a trace spell.
We all have to be together. We
Yeah,
can't
and
be
he can
separated.
and he can fly.
No, he can't.
Why?
He's done with his wings.
Yeah, that's right.
We have too many people for the carpet and the broom.
No, my wings are gone. There's no wings for that.
Unless we rest.
Well, kick Trinket out of the necklace and I'll get in there.
I can also climb up the wall if need be.
We could leave Trinket. It's fine.
I still have the boots. Just the wings. It was death or wings. I chose
Good call.
wings.
All right, so how do we fly? How do we do that? How do we get all of this up?
I could burn a spell and be a giant eagle or something. And
Just
get two
for
of us out of it.
shits and giggles, I'm going to take one last look around to see if there's any infrastructure for getting. There must be
you do it
infrastructure for
first.
getting up here. There
Yeah,
just wasn't like
that's-
layers of a city topped on top of each other. You born and die with.
We could just run.
We can
Where are
just
we
fuck-
going though if we get this
straight
thing?
through.
Up away.
Straight up, yeah.
We don't have no verification of an exit or a hole or anything.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta leave, okay?
Okay, hang on.
We know it's a body. That's my entire life, but this is the last moment. Every organ in a body has an entrance and an exit, right?
know.
Like if we're oh wait, no, lungs don't. They just have the one.
Yeah, they meet up at the top. That's one. That's right here.
Hey, we still have to. We've argued more than this game, more than anything else. Okay, we know we still have to fly upwards.
Yes.
Including on flying up to the blue crystal thing, right?
No, the crystal is right here.
Well, wait. Well, then what the fuck?
I don't know. What the fuck is it?
We have a plan for getting the crystal, just not how to get the fuck out.
Maybe this
Well, we
plan
fucking fly.
Yeah, but
Right.
who burns a spell to become an animal? Okay, good. Then you do that.
We're probably gonna take another short rest, right?
Probably.
Okay.
She can also burn a wild shape, which she can only use to become animals. Like, Sam can burn a spell to do a million things. He should not burn it on polymorph when they have a druid.
Short rest on long one.
I can recall Simon too. I can send him across the room, make a bunch of noise, draws a bunch.
Also, I like Matt being quiet here. Right? It's hard. It's tough. Especially when they're in like a dangerous scenario. But this is the good conversation, right? This is the good debate of them weighing all of the risks and all of the rewards. And they're even role-playing being quiet, right? They're role-playing doing the stage whispers and shushing each other and going fast and, right? They're role-playing all that stuff. You don't need to give them extra mechanical encouragement, especially when they're talking about your mechanical time frames, right? They're talking about what happens if it gets to Vasselheim? What happens if this amount of time passes or that amount of time passes or what have you, right? They're already very aware. They're talking about conserving their resources, right? Every aspect that you would want out of a timer is already happening. It's already being considered. This is a great time for the DM to just step back and just let it play out. This is maybe one of the rare situations where I would almost argue that there's no point that I would cut them off at. Just let them go. Just let them make the decision. They have all the information they need. They are just debating how to make the decision, right? You've even, like, they're saying, oh, we don't know how to get out. We don't know where the exit is, right? As the GM, you've already set up the fact that they cannot easily get that information. They can't split up, and they can't see that far away. So there's nothing more for you to add as the GM. There's nothing that you can give them that would impact their decision right now other than something to hurry it along. But they already want to hurry, right? In the fiction of it, they already want to hurry. So I don't think there's any need to do that here. That'll just push them into making a decision that they may or may not be comfortable with later. And they're already really heavily debating the decision, even with the information and pressure that they have. So I love Matt standing back here. I love him just allowing them the space to make this decision. Look, before I've said, oh, maybe Matt should have jumped in, maybe he shouldn't have, but more often I am impressed with Matt's ability to just stay quiet and just let them run, and this is no exception. I think this is fantastic. I also love hearing conversations like this as a GM. If my plan has any sort of flexibility in it, conversations like this are gold for finalizing those bits. Absolutely. Not only are you allowing them to do the fun planning part of D&D, they have all the information, they're just weighing risk reward. That's the best. Not only is that happening, but they are putting directly on display their thought process for you, right? That is allowing you to solidify things that you may have left for like improv, right? That is allowing you to take mental notes for your prep for next session. This is a gold mine. Absolutely, Negative View. I totally agree. They are just laying out all of their thoughts in front of you. If you interrupt this, you are interrupting them giving you fodder for prep. So this is like, this is a great conversation between the players. Great on Matt for just letting the conversation run.
People over there. You run, grab the crystal, and then we hustle out of
I'll
here.
bet you
What if only half the room leaves out?
No, you get Simon
kill the
too.
rest of
To
them.
go
Go get the crystal, and there's just gonna be a floating crystal that just marches
Yeah,
across.
they don't give a shit.
Just fucking do it.
Do it. Do it.
And then we can
I'm
raise
on the
the-
carpet.
They're on dead dump box.
We're ready to
Okay,
go.
who's on me? You're on me.
I'm on you.
And you're on carpets.
Yep.
No,
And you're on broom.
with Grog.
Yeah, Percy and Vex are
Great.
Okay.
Send,
All right.
send Simon
Gnomes on the
too.
carpet with Grog. In person in the room. You transforming into what creature?
Make it good.
Love shiny.
Not yet.
Giant eagle.
And Matt only jumping in to confirm logistics. Very nice. Why do they want the crystal? I don't remember. Because it's shiny, Bing Bong. That's it. If we're being more honest, because Percy, and if we're being even more honest than that, Taliesin assumes that there is something that will be useful to them in this room. That's it. That's the only reason. And his logic that he just put on display like maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago was, if we don't burn any important resources, then this is pure benefit, right? The timeline is not so exact that we can't spend a minute or two doing this. And as long as we don't spend any resources, it's pure profit. That's the only reason. They just assume if there's a glowing crystal that they'll want it. Which is stupid. I agree with Keyleth. Keyleth said, by the way, I think this is stupid, but I'm on board, let's do it. And I agree with her. If you have this many people that want to do it, fuck it, let's just go. Let's just do it. Let's do it as safely as possible. It's better than spending the time to convince you out of doing it. But it is stupid.
Okay.
Not until
Okay.
And then we all, within 60 feet of each other, fly up.
Okay, so
Not gonna work.
who's doing what?
Simon 2.
Simon 2's gonna go get the thing. But let's say they all start watching the thing come towards us. Grog, are you here? Are you with us?
Yeah, I'm on. Oh, yeah, I
Can
have
you
to.
like throw something across the room
Sure.
to make a noise?
Yep, I can
or-
absolutely do that.
Yeah. And I'll prime an arrow to
I have
shoot
a
something across the
hooded
room.
lantern
Too.
that has fuel in it. It will even burn when it.
Perfect.
Perfect.
It's been sitting there for 4 years.
This is a terrible plan.
This is why we hoarded it in the first place.
So
Guys,
who's doing what?
I'm just gonna say this one more time before we do this. He's way faster than Simon 2. He could just Simon 2 could create a distraction. He could just
Scan them. Only with the boots.
Yeah.
Only with the
If they
boots.
chase
We
the,
only
if they chase
get
the jewel,
once.
Right, how
if they
fast
chase
is
the
Simon?
jewel, fuck the jewel and we'll sleep. Okay.
If they chase the jewel, then we can just grab it and run anyway, where it'll be
Or
fine.
we just leave.
Okay. All right, Simon 2, come back with your bones.
The bones shift over towards you ever so slowly.
Don't worry. Be happy now.
All right, Simon 2, go to the middle of the room.
Simon, take
Throw the bones away. Far. Then grab the crystal. And you don't have pockets. Just kind of run back to us.
Away from the.
Away, yeah. Should you cover it with a blanket or something? Do you have a cloak or something?
The bones begin to drift.
Handkerchief to put over the thing.
No, it's just gonna. Okay. No, I'm not saying no.
Wear a blanket.
Yeah, no, handkerchief to put over the light.
yeah, yeah.
So it blocks the light.
Yeah.
All right, so go put this handkerchief on the thing. Pick it up. Bring it back to us. Go, Simon 2. You're our
So
only
it's not
hope.
holding bones or a blanket?
Forget the bones. He's holding the blanket.
He's holding a hanky.
Something just big enough to cover that.
Put the bones down gently.
Give me the bones. I put the bones down. Okay. Here's a handkerchief.
Who's on second?
Go put it over the crystal. Pick up the crystal. Bring it back to us.
And then we can slowly walk.
There's a handkerchief floating.
Just floating by.
It's like those little handkerchief ghosts you would make in kindergarten.
Just drifting ever so slowly. As you glance inside and kind of watch as it happens, you can see all the undead that are in there are just standing, unmoving, kind of swaying a little bit in place. Simon's about 30 feet out from them, about 20 feet out. They don't notice his presence. You notice all the undead are facing the crystal, by the way.
I'm sorry, was it not implied? Of course they are. They're you think the 30 undead are just fucking standing around the crystal for no reason? They're not looking at it. What the fuck are you talking about, guys? Of course they're all staring at it. It's a magic crystal.
Right before he picks it up, right before he picks it up, just hawk up rock as far as you can.
Not the
across.
lantern?
The lantern, not
Sure, the lantern, whatever you want.
Light the lantern first.
By the way, they're all staring right at you. They're 100% aware of what's going on.
Well, I'm staring at you. They're staring at the crystal.
They will be staring at us. What if we destroy the crystal? I wonder if all the undead would die. Let's keep going.
Well,
It's possible.
Okay.
the handkerchief makes way forward. Simon walks between the undead, and they don't even notice.
That's a good guy. Simon 2.
Yeah, for now.
But what happens?
The handkerchief moves over onto the crystal.
Throw the lantern.
And all the undead kind of look over to the crystal, and the crystal lifts, and they all begin to.
Throw the lantern.
I take the hooded lantern and I just like. the fucking piss out of it.
Make an attack roll. Just roll and then add your strength modifier.
Okay, sure.
You're adding your strength modifier?
Yeah, just a strength modifier.
So you're aiming on the opposite end?
Yeah, like from us. Yeah, because if he enters the job, like throwing it in the opposite direction of where we are.
Yeah, what a great strength check, athletics check. See how far he can throw that shit. Sure.
Your strength, easy enough. You just
Superman throwing a
lob it,
baseball.
arcs over, and explodes. The oil spreads across the ground. Flames ignite, and the bright light that emanates from it. And the flames burst into all the undead turn over, and you like retract away. Two of them are kind of following Simon, who's currently leading with the. Yeah, only two of the undead are following Simon currently. The others are just.
Man, okay. I've said before in the past that I am a fan of horde combats. I am a fan of having far more enemy or adversaries than allies. Like those are my preferred kind of types or genres of combat. And this is part of the reason. Because it's not just combat. It's pre and post combat, right? With these hordes. Like I love dealing with hordes partially because you can give mixed reactions within the horde, right? Some of the horde can do one thing and some of the horde can do another, depending on roles. Hordes give amazing opportunity for granularity within results. If you only have one boss or a boss and two lieutenants or, an equal number of adversaries as you have allies, like it becomes much more substantial, right? If there's only 4 adversaries, having even one of them do something different than the other 3 is 25% of them. As opposed to this, where you have 30 total, and you have 28 doing one thing, that's majority success. That's over 90% are doing the thing that Vox Machina wanted them to do. And then you have 2 of them that are following the crystal. Like, by percentages, smashing success. But it can be nice and granular. It can be a little bit of degrees of success or failure, because now there's a new challenge where they have to figure out what to do about these 2 that are following Simon 2. Lots of 2s. They have to come up. It's like a new challenge that has been put in front of them, right? It's not just the old challenge, but lesser. It's kind of a brand new thing. They can do things to 2 undead that they basically had no shot doing to 30 undead. In effect, they've kind of defeated the horde, and now they just need to defeat 2 kind of separate individuals without reactivating the horde. So it's basically just like a new but lesser challenge, a challenge that is much easier for them to deal with, that is being presented here. And again, all of these sorts of things are certainly possible when you're running far, far fewer adversaries, but they become much easier when you're running these big hordes to take out subsets and have them do different things. That's one of the reasons that I'm attracted to horde combats. There are downsides, of course. This is totally personal preference. I'm more advocating for some of the benefits of horde combats. I'm sure that we might see some of the downsides, and I've talked about some of the downsides in the past, but this is definitely one of the upsides.
Distracted by the detonation of flame. They look confused.
How close are the pursuers?
Well, they're making their way slowly. They're no, they're much faster than Simon.
I'm gonna try to shoot.
Okay.
No, the two.
All right. So both of you guys roll an attack for each of
Are
the
they far
2s.
away from the other ones that aren't leaving
It
yet?
doesn't matter. They're not paying attention.
25. No, 33.
29.
Roll damage each.
They're silent. They just drop out of nowhere. They just faint. It's gonna be good.
So we hope.
I thought you were made of sterner stuff, Travis. Come on.
There's clattering bones.
Now is not the time to get squeamish.
24.
We made a solemn oath.
On the first area.
We're innocent, Thompson.
4,
We agreed weeks ago.
72.
I rolled a
We're gonna
77
loot
for
this
my
dungeon.
attack.
Okay.
77?
This is Skyrim.
These 2 skeletons
Every clay pot.
almost atomize. They just, as they're walking, they're both gaining on Simon, and as they both start reaching towards where the very like dull bluish glow, mostly muted by the handkerchief, is now floating in the air. They both like towards it. You watch as both their heads and torsos just scatter across the ground, like some sort of a heavy wave of force just blasted them across the stonework. The scraping sound hits across as the detonation hits. The flames are dying down, and No, Northern Undead see the chaos. Slowly the stone floats past out of the doorway and makes its way back to you.
Drop it in the bag of holding.
And at this point, Simon's getting real close to the end of his hour-long casting time, we'll say.
You served us well.
He's still
Bag of holding.
All right.
Bag of holding.
You have
Doesn't
it.
hurt my head or anything, does it?
Nope. Okay.
Cool, we got that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Whatever the fuck it is, we have it. So wait, nothing happened to him when we
go.
put it in the bag of holding. They were still just like, I kept going. All the undead.
All the undead inside that were distracted by the explosion of the lantern all are riled up now, and they're starting to kind of like wander
sneak away.
around, and they're
Okay.
starting to some of them are starting to make their way towards the entrance of the
sneak
temple.
away.
Some are making their way towards the staircase to head upward.
Are we flying?
Yes, we fly up.
All right, you go into eagle form, grab Vax, and all of you guys make your way up into the cavern
Within 60
entrance.
feet. Within 60
All
feet
right,
of each other. Bubble. Tight bubble.
All right, so currently, does the eagle? I believe the eagle form has dark vision, because right now you have no light source.
I do, but I
have
can
dark
say things to her.
Okay.
I can see.
I have dark vision.
Yeah, right. But so you guys are able to
Yes.
maneuver. All right. So as you guys head up into the center part of the cavern, above the catwalks, and you can see as you push through, about a third of them are still standing. A lot of them have collapsed in the center, and there's like edges of bridges that just come to a halt when they've collapsed and tumbled down into the cavern below. And you can see straggling undead that just kind of wander along the catwalks and these pathways along the edges of the cavern. And as you pass forward through them, so I imagine you guys are just cruising through as fast as you can.
Trying to avoid them.
Yeah, we'll try to avoid
Right.
the clusters.
Right. So a few of them seem to like glance up and see you as you pass and kind of reach, but they have nowhere to go. As you begin to cruise through the center of this cavern, following it to the opposite side, it widens further. And now as you kind of look down faintly, you can see bits of the orangish bioluminescent fungus that kind of are growing within the center of the city below. And you can see elements of these beautiful statues that are partially crumbled. You can see small homes that litter the center of this chamber. You can see some of the catwalks that meet in the center of this actually meet into what seems to be a suspended platform that contains another like kind of dome-like structure that is partially caved in. And with another shaken impact of the Titan's footfall, you watch as one of its suspension pillars kind of cracks in the entire center.
Bro, why were we doing all the shit before this place? Oh my god. Throw the tomb in here, throw the lake in here, just make this the area, man. This place is cool. I want to know what's in the dome, the suspended dome. That's neat. This is a fun environment. Why were we dealing with all that bullshit before? And you know, I've said it before. I said it last session or last stream. You know, sometimes GMs have more or less time to prep. I'm not saying that that's the case here. I'm not saying that that's, you know, definitely what happened is that Matt didn't have a lot of time during the previous weeks to prep and he had more time this week to prep. All I'm, you know, saying is that this environment is way cooler than the previous ones. And I think it would have been way cooler to put like the vault and the tomb and the weird incinerator room within this city. Just have them be different areas in this singular city. I think that would have been a lot more interesting. There could have been a lot less time spent describing things because you've already described the city once. You can watch the process of degradation, all sorts of shit. All the benefits I mentioned earlier, because, I mean, this city's cool. I think the suspended dome is about to hit them, so it seems like you might get to see what's inside. True. True. We'll see.
Finally gets away and falls and slams down, collapsing into the center of the chamber, being there for just a final moment of its tensile strength. As it slams down, you watch as it crushes.
Also, fantastic example of how a hub location like this city can be utilized to demonstrate slow degradation, right? If they had spent the last 2 sessions within this city, just going to various parts of this city, and then this session, 3 sessions into them sitting in this city, the pillars are finally degraded enough to where this dome, a dome that has been a fixture of the city this whole time that Matt has referred to several times as they travel. Maybe he even references locations in relation to the dome, how far away they are from the dome, what degrees off center they are from the dome, whatever. If you use all that, the dome is this fixture of the environment and then it tumbles down, it's a lot more effective than introducing it and then immediately destroying it. Oh, there's a dome, now it's crumbling to the ground. There's still benefit to be gained there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not mad that he's describing this dome and describing it tumbling down, but there's wasted potential there. It could be so much more effective if they had lived and breathed this area for a little bit and are now seeing the dome collapse as they're exiting. It would be more impactful, you know.
about 40 or so various skeletons below, and from that blast, you can see something on the interior of it was apparently explosive or flammable, and it explodes, giving a brief flash of light into the center of this cavern. And where you had just a brief outside of your visual range, you now look around and see the entirety of these dozens of catwalks and the city below you, hundreds and hundreds of roving skeletons and mostly decomposed, zombified dwarven corpses that all glance towards this explosion, some of which have been blasted away from it, the impact of the detonation, other ones that are just making their way towards where the strange sound was, drawn towards it. But you are keeping this kind of central safe space between where none of them can grasp or assail you.
Were there other buildings like that ready to fall from the ceiling?
Currently, what you see is just the one.
Okay.
I'm looking for gaps or holes or anything in the ceiling of this cabin or anywhere to get out.
You see what appear to be the entrances to homes that are built into the sides of the homes, buildings.
Tunnel or anything?
Make a perception check.
Passageways
Yeah,
out.
that's what I'm looking for.
Anyone who has dark vision can make a perception check.
Okay.
I have keen sight. Does that count?
27.
You have advantage on your perception.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, shitty and shittier. That's
27.
18.
18.
I didn't
There you
even
go.
look.
All right.
28.
All right.
I'm weeping over Simon too.
No. Your keen eagle vision.
What was the name?
Wait, so you rolled shitty and shittier and still got 20.
Yeah, I have a plus 13.
That's awesome.
Plus advantage.
Right, that's awesome. All right, cool. So, glancing through your eagle vision, you can see the top of the chamber almost seems to come into a
Sorry, plus 13, which means she would have rolled a 15, and she called that shitty.
conical shape. And as you look up to the top of it, it emerges into a completely vertical chamber that rises up and out of the central opening of the city of Thamara.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go.
Good.
Yeah. I take the lead, I guess.
We'll follow her.
Okay.
Max is trying to appreciate his last ride.
Oh, Jesus.
No way, I'm not gonna stop, fuck y'all. Every game until the end, motherfuckers!
As I say, as the group of you make your way up into this vertical, this vertical cavern, we're gonna go and take a break. I need to break myself.
Where do we have the
There's an announcement.
Yes.
That's right. Stick around. We have Shadow of War video coming up at this break to give you a glance at this game coming up that we're all part of. If you haven't seen it, or if you have seen, check it out anyway. It's pretty awesome. And also for this week's giveaway, Wormwood, we've got a little video for you here.
A video. Okay. I think, unfortunately, I am going to take that as my exit as well as my break. Partially because there's more things I need to do around. Need to prepare for the interview. Need to practice my pitch, my presentation, my deck. But, you know, if that stuff goes well, cross your fingers. I might be having less, so much of the past, month and a half, 2 months has just been, needing to keep times open and not wanting to commit to stream in case something gets scheduled, which has happened basically every time I've decided not to stream, so it was reinforcing it. But, there's a chance. I don't want anyone to get too excited. I'm trying to hold back myself personally. But I'm feeling optimistic. So, maybe we'll be able to get a little bit more consistent streaming schedule. Still working on some fun stuff in the background on occasion when I got free time. Have some things in the works that I think are fun. And I want to continue progressing on CR while I can. And hopefully, if things do firm up, scheduling wise, I'll be able to kind of create a new, more consistent schedule. Once I'm not, trying to hold my schedule open for any potential interviews or anything like that, it suddenly becomes a lot easier for me to just dedicate a chunk of time. Because, if you have watched the entire series thus far, you know that I streamed plenty when I had a full-time job before. So it's not that, it's just the uncertainty of it all. So I am going to cross your finger, or I'm going to cross my fingers, cross your fingers. Hopefully that all works out. And I'm going to go practice. I will see you all later. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully I'll be back next week, or maybe I don't know when. And I appreciate y'all. Hopefully, I also want to take smaller snippets of streams to test the tech setup because everything's still not totally working. But this is a good one. This is the best one so far. So I'll see you all later. Thank you for joining. And yeah. Is it Thursday yet, I suppose? Is it Monday yet? I don't know. Bye-bye.